Two more goals on home turf for Mansfield Town mean that with just 2 games remaining in Sky Bet League 2, the finish is a scriptwriter's wet dream.
Mansfield want to take the corner quickly. It is taken quickly. Here's Murphy. Looks to roll it in towards the middle. Dicked it towards the far post, looking for O'Toole. It might fall for Lansley. Yes! George Lansley opens the scoring on 50 minutes. Back in the side, back in the goals, and gets Mansfield Town's fans back on their feet. Barry now takes it down. Can he get it onto his right foot? Inside it goes for Longstaff. Longstaff will shoot. It's in for Longstaff. It's 2. Good night, Stevenage. Hello, pressure. Matty Longstaff with the finish, right at the death for Mansfield Town.
And to the death it goes in Sky Bet League 2, with all teams down to Swindon in 8th, still having a mathematical chance of finishing in 3rd. Nigel Clough isn't happy that the Stags must wait until Monday to play, and he's got a bloody good point too. Tomorrow afternoon will be the nerviest Saturday of the campaign so far, and the Stags don't even kick a ball in anger. It's time then to call in some favours from the footballing world. Newly promoted Exeter City can still be crowned champions. A big result against 3rd place Southampton would boost their chances enormously and also be a huge help for the Stags, who must also keep an eye on those teams nipping at their ankles, including Bristol Rovers, Sutton United and Swindon Town. I don't know about you, but I'm going to find a sofa to hide behind for tomorrow afternoon's fixtures. In a nutshell, it's tight at the top, it's dramatic and bloody brilliant to be involved with. Tonight we'll reflect on all of those possible twists and turns and reflect on Tuesday's springboard victory over Stevenage, the 3 points which put us right in the race ahead of the final 2 games of the campaign. As always, come and have your say on your team. This is the show for the fans, by the fans. Why? Because Mansfield always matters. It's going down to the wire. Find yourself a stress ball, find yourself a sofa to hide behind, close your eyes and enjoy the thrill of the ride, because there's an easy way, a hard way and a Mansfield bloody town way. Footballing gods, if you're watching, I've got one word to say to you. Please? It's time to find all of those lucky charms, whether it's a lucky pair of socks, a superstitious pair of pants, a certain way of driving to the game, whatever you're doing, which is working for Mansfield Town at the moment, it's time to do that over and over and over again. Hello and welcome to the Mansfield Matters podcast. It's the show for the fans, by the fans, live on your Friday night ahead of a Saturday afternoon, which will be the most stressful Saturday of the season so far, and the Stags don't even kick a ball. Yes, no game until Monday, until the Stags take on Salford in the Cam Felton derby. And of course, they're going to have to sit tight and watch all things scores come in tomorrow afternoon with big games elsewhere. Joining me to talk all about the drama, the twists, the turns, the possibilities, and a lot more in between. We've got almost a full quota tonight. Guess which one of us isn't here? Yes, that's right. The man who knows he'd be getting some ribbon tonight. No Cam tonight, personal reasons, but he will be back with us very, very soon. We've got the man who I'm sure will join me in a little bit of a rant later on. More on that later. Mr. Alan Wilson, good evening.
Good evening, Craig. Good evening, everybody.
We've got the man who's almost wearing the same colour as Mansfield's away shirt next season, Clive Parkin, the Edwin Stowe Stag. Good evening.
Hey up, Craig. How you going?
I'm all right. I'm very good. And the man who doesn't matter what the away kit looks like to him because he won't be able to see it. It's the blind stag, Mr. Nathan Edge. Good evening.
Evening.
How are you, my friend?
I'm very good. I'm very good. I'm looking forward to your rant later because I'm just going to say I don't care.
Well, there you go. I mean, you never care about my rants anyway, regardless of whether you can see what I'm ranting about or not. So, you know, it doesn't really matter. Nothing will ever change there or not. It's... Yes, that rant will be about the away shirt, which is nice, but it's going to cause some issues. More on that later on. Let's kick things off by talking about Tuesday night and the end of the season. Glyn's got us underway in the comments tonight. As always, if you want to get involved with the show, come and have your say on your team in the comments. Glyn says, automatic or not, considering we were joint bottom November, we've done brilliant to be up there. And he's absolutely spot on, isn't he, Nate? Because from where we were to where we are now, midway through that point, nobody would ever have believed it. So for it to go down to the wire, it's certainly enjoyable.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, listening to that sort of the intro to the show as well. Great choice of song, by the way. It's sort of like one of them that really gets you up for it. But I think when you listen to the highlights of the match, a few months ago we'd have just been hoping we were safe, and hoping for a sort of a mid-table dead rubber games by now. But actually, to be right in amongst it, even with the possibility of the automatic still there. It's ended up being a superb season, which is why, like, when we did lose to Carlisle and Sutton, and I think that for me, although yes, obviously I was disappointed and it is gutting you, I didn't get too low because it's for me overall it's been a entertaining and a great season to follow the Stags. It's just but now we're so close, it would just top it off to to get up there if we could.
That is half the battle, though, isn't it, Clive? Because we are so close to it now. If it wasn't to happen, the season would be remembered on by the majority as another season in which we've fallen short. But in retrospect and in reality, like Nathan says, it's been one full of twists and turns. And what a great season to be the first one back to witness after being locked inside and glued to our tellies and one camera angle for a year.
There are huge numbers of positives about this season. Clearly, we made life hard for ourselves by having that dreadful spell, and some of it was brought on ourselves, of course. Some of it was circumstantial, and the recovery we've made since then has been nothing short of remarkable. And in fact, had we had the same form throughout the season, we would have been champions of this league. So I think we have to commend what's been achieved. The trouble is, it's tantalisingly close to success and equally tantalisingly close to perceived failure now. And when I say perceived failure, there'll be people who can't cope very easily if we don't get promoted. And the term bottlers will be thrown around willy and nilly again. And they do need to remind themselves that just where we were not that many months ago, and we were whittling about the trapdoor. So let's count our blessings. Let's assume we're going to get promoted, and there's no reason why we shouldn't. And let's enjoy this last couple of weeks of the regular season. Whether or not we have to have an extended season remains to be seen.
Yeah, it certainly does. Obviously, a lot will hinge on results tomorrow afternoon as well. We'll come on to that a little bit later on, Alan. But let's stick with this for now. Like the guys have been saying, it's been thoroughly enjoyable to watch, and wouldn't be a Mansfield Town season, would it, without that drama?
I've enjoyed the twists and turns and the ups and downs, and I think Nigel's done really well, with keeping the squad together. And I like the interview with Perchy as well. That came across really well, and I'm really pleased for Perchy because he's come on leaps and bounds again, hasn't he, in the last few matches. And I just think it's an exciting end to the season, and I would sooner go up in third. I don't want the playoffs, but what will be will be. That's fingers crossed.
Yeah, what will be indeed, Nathan. It's interesting to sort of think about this season because from a personal perspective, I look at this season as two seasons in one. The part where I was a fan and then the part where I was, fortunate enough to be able to go on and commentate. Unfortunately, that part has sort of coincided with us picking up form. I mean, I'm not saying that it's down to me, but there is an element of that to it.
No other reason whatsoever.
Yeah, clearly. But what I'm
the scoreboard.
Yeah, me and the scoreboard, absolutely.
If we go back to when you commentated before, what was your last season? Just remind us.
I mean, my last season that we, was the year we did win the conference. So
yeah, there's something there, isn't there? There's something in the water when Craig's commentating.
I know. I mean, I'm not sure. We're not quite sure why it's taken this long, to be fair. But no, in all seriousness, though, if you look at that sort of, you look at this season as almost two seasons. You had the first half of the campaign really up until maybe November, late November, early December, where we were really struggling with the squad, and we're saying, have we got enough about us? And then you look at it after that, and you just think, what would have happened? What could have happened if the Stags had kept those players?
I mean, you can always say that for seasons, can't you? Look back and every year, your ifs and buts and maybes, and you can even do it down to individual games. I think come the end of the season, if we don't get up there, or if we don't get automatic, for example, people will point at Carlisle and say, if that goal was given, you go back even further to the last time we was in amongst it, and you think when Danny Rose is at Oldham, if that wasn't given offside and so on. So you do get that throughout seasons. It was just a frustrating period when we had so many injuries and suspensions. And it seemed to be never ending. That was the hard thing, and we went on obviously a terrible run.
Yeah.
And you just think, if that was just a bit shorter, if we got a couple of players back a little bit quicker, or for example, if Quinney didn't get the 6-match ban, like that could have made a difference between a point and a point right now. Would be, but sitting in the top 3 or more comfortably anyway. So, that's what football is, isn't it? But for me, I think you've got to be reflective and again, like we've already said, think back to where we were and just enjoy where we are now and get behind them. Even if we fall behind, just get behind the team, because we should be we should be happy to see where we are at the minute.
Yeah, it's not all about where you start. It's all about how you finish. And you look at Exeter for a prime example and think, well, they've not been top all season, and yet on the final day of the campaign, they could go top. They could win the league after being second throughout it all. So it's really, really interesting to see the twists and turns. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. Charlie in the comments, Alan has asked, do you think that after playing everyone else, do you think that playing after everyone else will work in our favour, as the lads will know what they have to do? I know Nigel Clough's been very vocal about this as well. So what's your take on it, Alan?
No, I agree with Nigel. I think it ought to be the same. I know it. Obviously, if things go in our favour tomorrow afternoon, we know what we've got to do anyway, Craig. We've got to win both games. Simple as. And everything else will take care of itself, as it says. But I agree with Nigel. I'd sooner play on a Saturday afternoon when everybody has the same, same time, same place, and all that sort of stuff, so that everybody it's still as exciting. Because I don't think it's quite as exciting when you're not playing. You see all the results, and then you've got to come, because if results go against us, it will put us on a little bit of a downer, I think.
I don't know. Playing at the same time and same place could get.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway.
I know what you mean, Nathan. You know what I meant.
Anyway,
It's an interesting one though, Clive, isn't it? Because like Alan said, Nigel Clough's been very vocal about it. He believes at this time of the season, especially, that it should be played separately. It should be played at the same time as everybody else. For me, tomorrow afternoon, I'm really going to have to find something to occupy myself tomorrow afternoon, because I won't be able to look at scores, because in my head I'll be going, oh no, well, we need to do this. We're not going to finish there. We're not going to finish there. And it's just, I think it makes Monday's game harder, knowing that we might have to go there and, and have to get a result. And there's too much pressure on it for me. It takes away that thing of, just focusing on what you do.
I absolutely agree that they shouldn't mess around with fixtures for any reason. But of course, the power of the media determines these things nowadays. It could be argued that by playing 2 days after the rest of the pack is an advantage. We've had a little bit more recovery time, and we'll have a clearer view of what's required of us going into the final 2 games. But on balance, I'd say no. I'd rather everybody be kicking off at 3 o'clock on Saturday. And if you've nothing else to do on Saturday, Craig, my car is filthy.
Yeah, I mean, I have got things to do there. I mean, I know I'm unemployed. How much are you playing? How much are you paying? Let's negotiate.
That's how good a job you do. 20 quid.
Nah, I don't get out of bed for less than 40. So
it's not bad. I mean, I'm free, mate.
Well, you go and do it then, mate. You go and do it.
I'll say, the problem is it'll look the same as it did as it started for me. That's the only problem. Just on the Monday game kind of thing. One thing to remember though is yes, the results could go against us, but they could also very much go against Salford. So you've got to remember they're in a very similar position. They've got a real chance now. They've been on a decent run, and they've got a real chance getting the playoffs, which is for a while they probably thought that was out of reach because they're basically mid-table for a long time. So there's as much riding on it for them as there is for us. So although I'm with you guys, it would be nice to play at 3:00 on a Saturday because that's just when it feels like football should be played. But end of the day, it's money in the pot for being on TV, and I think the pressure's the same for both sides.
It might help us.
We need to win both games regardless.
Nathan, it might help us even further because we're taking all of the people that we could get tickets for, and I dare say a few more as well. We'll outshout the home team's fans.
Mm.
They don't get much of a crowd anyway, and now that it's on mainstream sports media, I would imagine that'll put pressure on the attendance anyway.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be more like a home game for us when we get there. Plus, everybody recognises it's the last normal away game of the season, so we'll be in party mood. So I think it's an event to look forward to. I hope the players rise to it. But I still go back to what we've all agreed. 3:00 Saturday is the time to play. And especially as you get to the important end of the season, everybody should be exactly the same, in my opinion.
Yeah, final 2 games of the season, there should be a law that it is 3:00 Saturday afternoon, or it kicks off at exactly the same time. There should be no advantage for anyone, because if we get a good result and, we've not got a lot of time to turn things around, it does affect things a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see how Nigel Clough manages that, because, of course, if results don't quite go our way, the other thing which Nigel Clough may consider is, tweaking the team to rest players in for a potential playoff. I don't think for any second, Alan, that he will do that, because he is very gung-ho. He is very much all or nothing. But psychologically, if Northampton do beat Exeter and maybe Bristol Rovers get a win as well and it drops us down, Nigel Clough may go, well, actually, we now need to prepare for not 2 games. We need to prepare for 4.
Yeah, I don't think he will, Craig, to be honest. I think he will go gung-ho, like you're saying. He will want that 3 points on Saturday, whatever happens. Because then if he gets that 3 points under his belt, he can decide then, irrespective, what the other scores are in the other games. I just think he'll go for it from the beginning. And, because in his eyes, and same as all the Stags fans, he wants 6 points. He wants 2 lots of wins from 2 lots of games. Simple as.
No reason why we can't get them either. No. I know we're sort of jumping ahead a little bit, but we might as well answer this question from Charlie. If we were to make the playoffs, who would you want to avoid? Well, the one team which I'd want to avoid can't mathematically get into the playoffs now. Unlucky Newport. Enjoy League 2 next year. The only teams that can mathematically make the playoffs now are obviously Tranmere Rovers, Salford City, Swindon Town, Sutton, Bristol Rovers, Port Vale, ourselves, and of course Northampton in 3rd, with all the way down to 8th. So Swindon, Sutton, Bristol Rovers, ourselves, Port Vale, and Northampton all battling for that 3rd place spot. I would say the 2 teams that I'd actually want to avoid that are in the playoffs currently, Sutton United, because not a nice place to go. It's a long way to go, and they're a team that have done very, very well this season. If they get into the playoffs, I would put money on them getting to the final. The other team is Port Vale, because even the home game I felt we performed well against them, but the away game we didn't. And Port Vale play a very good style of football, which we couldn't really cope with. So they'd be my 2. Alan, what about you?
Sutton and Tranmere.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the Tranmere fans.
Yeah,
oh, no, yeah, I won't want to repeat that.
Your friend that was in your face.
Yeah, might end up getting arrested. Nathan, what about you?
Sutton for sure. And then I'm torn between Port Vale and Bristol Rovers. I hate Bristol Rovers away. It's a shocking away end. So I kind of prefer Port Vale for the atmosphere, etc. So I'm gonna say Sutton and Bristol Rovers for me.
Clive?
The same, Sutton and Bristol Rovers.
Yeah. I think we'll just avoid them all and go up automatics and just do it that way.
That's the trick. If we can pull it off.
Yeah, we'll do it that way. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Right, let's jump all the way back to Tuesday night, Nathan, when Mr. Evans came back to One Call Stadium. There was somebody dressed up as a pig, so that was quite funny. He got a bit of abuse, but I'm going to be honest. As much as I understand why he did get the abuse that he got. It played straight into his hands, and it was very, very dangerous. And it's lucky that we got through to half time at 0-0.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd say it played into his hands because to be honest, I expect him to milk it a bit more than well, he didn't really at all, did he? So, I expected more from his antics. To be fair, which we normally get, and that was so used to seeing. I think aside from that, I just think first half, which we've done many times of late, where we've sort of been a one-half team really, and we've put a better performance in either. Mainly second half. So, we had to dig deep, but I kind of didn't expect any different from, it was always going to be a difficult game. So the important thing is for us was getting at half time 0-0. We managed to do that, and we came out a different side in the second half, but we've done that on quite a few occasions.
I'm going to clarify what I mean slightly. When the teams came out, there was a lot of booing, obviously because Evans followed the teams out of the dugout, and it just felt very, very surreal. And for me, Alan, like I say, whilst I understand it, and I'm fully behind him getting some payback of the way he walked out and left us, I felt there were other ways to do it. And when the teams were walking out, when you hear the mass chorus of boos, it set a negative tone, and I don't think we responded to it as a group of players. Yes, there had been some who knew and understood why the boos were happening, but we needed it to be a little bit more positive. And for me, it was a real tough. It was a real surreal entrance to the game, and I don't think it helped us. I mean, I'm happy to take messages and flack for that back from fans. But I don't think it helped us at all. And had we gone a goal down, I think, that maybe could have been a contributing factor.
It was always going to happen, I think. I mean, I didn't particularly like the boos when he came out because they were both sets of teams were coming out, And
My
it was
point exactly.
Yeah, it was like all together. But I mean, as for Mr. Evans, he only made a couple of fleeting appearances. His puppet master was doing all the dignitaries, weren't
Dodgy.
He was sorting all that out, and he was very quiet as he sat down, apart from 2 or 3 little bursts. But I think it's the same as most teams, Craig. They did their job on us. There were 2 banks of 4, and every time that we tried to pass the ball forward, we just couldn't get through. And to say it was watered, the pitch was watered and everything, we were like playing the long balls to a certain degree because we couldn't pass his way through. Well, when they came out in the second half, it was very noticeable from the start, from the kickoff, that was on the front foot and we was a lot quicker. And I think that's all that was said. All that seems to have been said. We were lucky, like Nigel said, to get 0-0 at half time. But I just think there was a lot quicker in the second half, and they might have tired anyway. Because the 2 banks of 4, they worked really hard in the first half, and I thought they played well. To be fair,
yeah, they did. They were the better team in the first half for sure. And I think one thing which sort of let us down, Clive, a little bit was the fact that we didn't come out as firing as what we needed to. It took us 45 minutes to really get into the game.
Yeah, I think on the booing thing, I think you're overthinking this. It didn't affect him. He knew it was going to happen. Clough would have told the players to anticipate booing, which has nothing to do with the teams. It was inevitable he was going to get it, and I think he was treated quite kindly on balance. But in his favour, Mr. Blobby did put out a good side, and they were those 2 banks of 4 worked incredibly hard and didn't allow us to play in a way that I don't think many teams that have visited the Mill have done as well. So fair dues to the old fat bugger. We did. He got his team set up well against us, but of course, as soon as we made a penetration in the second half, the whole thing fell apart because they had to go and reshape, and that's where we could have had more than 2 goals. In fairness, but,
critical. Sorry, carry on.
2-0 win against them is a good result.
Yeah, critical to that, Nath, was, as Mark says, Murphy and Longstaff are starting to get to grips with the physicality of League Two. I think over the last 2 or 3 games or so, probably since he came back into the side at Carlisle, Murphy, for me, has been absolutely excellent. He's lightning down that left-hand side and really gives us an option. And when we get on the counter, when we move the ball quickly, 1-2 touch stuff and really stretch the game, we look a dangerous attack with him as part of that.
Yeah, I agree. I think before that sort of injury and things, he probably wasn't quite hitting the levels that we hoped as fans coming in. But since he has come back, he has seemed like a much better player. He's been very, very creative. I think that probably getting his first goal helped as well. I mean, even though the goal didn't count at Carlisle, I think that's still enough to give a player confidence, because he knew that he knows that was technically a goal, so he'll take confidence from that. So and that's important for us at this end of the season when you've got, Oates is clearly playing with an injury, so it's not going to be 100% to what we usually expect from him, but you want the others to pick up then. So the likes of Murphy, and you've got Longstaff that's mentioned there, and you've George Lapsley, again, another player that seems to be looking better and better, which is a relief, because obviously a lot of the season he wasn't looking himself, but he's really picked up lately. So that's what you want is other players stepping up when you need them. So it's nice to see Murphy, Longstaff, and Akins getting a little bit better as well as it comes to the end of the season.
Yeah, nice to see us go back to a diamond as well in the midfield, Alan, with Akins playing a part in that. We spoke a couple of weeks ago, didn't we, when Oates was sort of rumoured to be coming back, about potentially seeing a partnership with Akins and Oates up there. Akins has dropped a little bit deeper now, sort of sitting at the top of that diamond and really, creating things for Murphy and Oates to run off. And I think it's been relatively successful for us. And, you look at actually the first goal for George Lapsley, it's Akins' physicality in and around the box which gets the ball to him in the first place.
And I don't think it's any coincidence either, Craig, with our friend Mr. Maris back. He was quality both games, I think he just pulls the strings from Mansfield, and they look a hell of a lot better side. But I tell you one thing, I was quite surprised that Lapsley, I know Sturck's been, in and out, but I was surprised that Lapsley went in front of Sturck, because with his left foot, I think he'd have been, another Quinn on the left-hand side with Macca. But I was pleased Lapsley in, because Lapsley scores more goals than Sturck does. It's as simple as, and it's a no-brainer in that respect, because he does get forward and he knows where the onion bag is.
It'll be interesting to see the way we set up at Salford. I think we definitely need to get Quinn back, Clive, because we did miss him on Tuesday night. Although it was nice to actually get a win and sort of dispel the myth of no Quinn, no win.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's very encouraging, because he has been arguably the best player of the season for some reasons. We tend to overlook him at times, but he makes Macca a better player, and also Macca makes him a better player. And so without him, we lose a little bit of that drive where we used to having it. I'd like to see him back in the side, though, even though we managed without him. Whether that would distort what has been a reasonably good formula, I don't know.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think a lot of it, like I say, will all depend on the results, I think, on Saturday afternoon. But even so, it's nice to have more players back and more players in there and more availability. One thing I am going to praise, though, Nath, is the back four, the centre-half pairing, John Joe O'Toole and James Perch. We mentioned it, before the game. Yet again, solid, another clean sheet. Those two experienced heads back there, for me, hands down, the best centre-back pairing that we have at the club.
100%. I think the back four, back five, throw Bishop in there. That's we said it last week, didn't we? That we hope that's what the back four is going to be. Because I think that's our strongest back four, and it's shown again on Tuesday night with another clean sheet. And relative. Well, like I said, we know they played well in the first half. It was very counter-attacking from them. They made it difficult for us. So I'm with Clive and what he said. It was, you got to give them credit where credit's due. But I still think we looked pretty solid. Apart from that good save that Bishop had to make the first half, I don't think he barely had to do anything in the second half. I know they was down to 10 men for a bit, but you got to give credit to that whole back four. And it just made me laugh there. What you were saying about Quinn, and obviously Clive was mentioning about Macca, and I think it was after the game. Hello.
Bit woof. Which podcast dog is it? Oh, it's Alan's. I thought it was. I thought it was one of yours, Nath.
No, not mine. No, mine's asleep next to me. I'm very happy actually. After the match on Tuesday night, Quinn. Clough said about Quinn It's Macca that he was missing his little buddy Quinn, which which was quite funny. But because those two have certainly had a great partnership. So, but first half, I was kind of thinking we did miss Quinn. 'Cause we missed that little bit of bite in midfield, and he's the one that brings and composure, which he brings. So I do hope he's back in on Monday. But it's one of them. Who would you take out? I think Lapsley should keep
Maris.
his place. Maris should keep his place.
No, Maris
so-
dropped. Maris
Really?
dropped. Yeah,
No.
yeah, Maris dropped.
Seriously?
I like George. I'm here to steer it up tonight. Let's have a
Yeah.
fight. Come on, let's have a scrap. Let's
Dis-
go.
Disagree
I'm-
with you there,
I don't
Craig.
know
Well,
what
you're
planet
all
it's
wrong.
on. I'm with
You're
you,
all wrong.
Alan.
You're all wrong. You're all wrong.
Disagree there, mate.
Well,
I
we'll
mean-
see what the comments say as well. Should Maris be dropped? It is an opportunity,
Yes.
guys. You know, whoever booed you on that night, I'm with them now. Even if it was your dad.
It was
Whoever
you.
was.
It was you. I know it was you.
It really wasn't.
No,
Oh,
it
dear.
just
Craig, can I
started playing
just
well
say, on
again,
behalf
Craig.
of
You
everybody
can't drop
that's
Maris.
listening- Craig, on behalf of all our listeners, you are entitled to your opinion, however bloody stupid it is.
However right it is. Yeah, I know. Great, innit? Just wanted to stir it up. I actually, you were talking about Maris earlier. I actually felt he was poor first half on Tuesday. I'm not going to lie. I thought he had a poor game. Better second half when we got moving. But I think that's also credit to Stevenage. They blocked him off very, very well indeed. But if I had to pick one, if you asked the question, who do you drop? For me, it would be Maris, and I'd have Longstaff sat a little bit deeper, or even you look at changing the shape because we're away from home and going for a flat 3 rather than a diamond. And if it's a flat 3 rather than a diamond, Maris misses out for me, and you bring him off the bench. My opinion.
Fair comment.
So, Alan, who would you drop then?
Disagree.
How can you drop Maris? What's in your drinks bottle tonight, Craig? I just explained how.
If you don't want Maris to be dropped, who would get the bullet?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, for me, I feel a bit bad.
Can't-
but
yeah,
it'd
well, you
be
can't wait.
Akins.
I'd let
Akins.
Longstaff-
I'd
That's
be
even
dropping
no.
Akins,
No,
and I'll be
that's-
moving Lapsley further up with Oates.
I'm telling you, if you drop Akins, you lose a lot of how Mansfield play, and everybody will then see what a good job he does on and off the ball.
And then I
Yes,
bring Barry
like
on.
yes, he gets criticised, different type of player. Yes, he gets criticised for his touch, and rightly so, because his touch does send him a million miles backwards. But his physicality, what he does to defenders, winning things, turning things around the corner, cannot be underestimated. I'm telling you now, we're a lot worse aside without Akins in it. And for me,
All
you've
about
got
Quinn.
you've got no, but you've got to,
Maris.
if you bring Quinn back in, you've got to drop Longstaff or Lapsley. They're the two. You can't drop Akins.
In your opinion.
In fact, not
No,
my opinion.
That's
Fact.
your opinion, Craig.
I agree, Craig. If
That's the
you are going
That's
to
the
keep,
beauty of it.
Get him on the reel.
if
Get him on the
you're
reel.
going
Come
to
on.
keep Maris in the side, something has to go. And is it going to be Lapsley or is it going to be Longstaff? I'd rest Longstaff, but I'm pretty sure that Clough wouldn't.
I don't agree with Clive either. What's he on about? What you two got in your drinks tonight?
Well, I've just had a
sort 'em out.
I've just had a raspberry flake McFlurry from McDonald's. They've just brought them back, so maybe I'm on a sugar high, but who knows? Charlie says, genuinely think Maris is a massive part of our squad, and don't think it's a coincidence that since he's been starting again, we've won both. Why change a winning formula? Says Nathan. Well, we had to change it, didn't we? Really on Tuesday because Quinn was injured, but so I suppose technically that was changing the winning formula as well. I'm nitpicking too much here.
Yeah, but it was.
I'm just trying to steer it. I want to go with someone. Let's have a
It
go.
was same with Hawkins, weren't it? Hawkins was missing because they had the youngster and he couldn't get back in, and we didn't particularly miss Hawkins.
I
You know,
agree with
because we still ended up winning the game 2-0. Admitted he came on for however many minutes it was, but you know, Nigel's got it all in hand. Whether
Listen.
Quinn comes back or whether Quinn doesn't come back, he will have
Listen.
it in hand, I'm sure.
We can all have our opinions, no matter how
Yeah.
wrong you all are. But all that matters is that the 11 players on the pitch that are picked by Nigel Clough, who's the manager, not Craig Priest, not Alan Wilson, not Clive Parkin, not Nathan Edge, or
Yeah.
that other youth. It's all about the people which Nigel Clough pick on the pitch. We can all sit and have our opinions, and you know what? That's the beauty of football, isn't it? Because if they get the job done, and if they get the job done, and Maris gets dropped for for Quinn and Quinn scores after it. It's a genius move.
Why did you mention Maris there, Craig? Why not Lapsley or Akins?
If Akins gets dropped and we lose 4-0, it's a stupid move, and I'll put that out there. But no, all jesting aside, it's all about the 11 players that put out there. And at this stage of the season, it does not we don't give a monkeys who those 11 are as long as they do the bloody job, because that is what's really required of us at this point. So there you go. I just wanted an argument with one of you or something.
Well, you succeeded. I'm still
got one.
Yeah, I know. Well, there you go. I mean, shame we're not all together, innit? We could have a punch up in there under the gazebo. Couldn't we? Could have a right scrap. Could have gone viral.
One. That's the last one after end of season. We can do it then.
That's a good idea.
What were you saying, Nate?
I was saying I need to get onto the comments. I'm hoping you get some stick on there, but
no,
you've let
Craig.
me down.
A Raig Greased says Craig is a genius. Don't disagree with his opinions.
John Charlton says, "Who the F is Craig?"
Nathan Page Marples. My money's on Nathan. There you go, Nathan.
That's it.
Cam Felton says
together. That's how it is.
Cam Felton says, "Who's this Nathan geezer? Get him off."
He's watching all the Oaks, so shut him up.
We're just making comments up now, mate, to be honest. So,
Alison says, will you tell Nathan to speak up a bit?
Who's what? Who says that?
Alison.
Who's Alison?
Yeah,
I've not seen Alison.
She sat across the room from me. She's a neighbour.
Oh.
Well, I'm quite a well. Never mind. Let's move on.
Yeah, move on.
Yeah, shall we? Shall we rant about kits?
Yes.
Yes, for sure. Well, hang on. You'll get your chance.
Alison, what do you think about this new kit? Right, okay, I'll tell him.
Clive's got an imaginary friend.
I feel like he's got an imaginary friend, do you?
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't be the first time, would it? So Mansfield Town are proud to launch the club's new stylish away kit, which will be worn this Monday when the Stags face Salford live on Sky Sports. Watch it, but put it on mute and listen to Mansfield 103.2. There's new sky blue strip, which is set to go on sale to the supporters this summer, Nathan. The Stags will be the Stags' official away kit for the 2022-23 season. Sponsored by OCL Solicitors and manufactured by Sturridge Sports, the new away shirt features the latest breathable performance fabric using moisture wicking material. They've added a new neck buggy and some other crap on the back, which nobody really understands or cares about. But one thing's for sure, it looks nice on the front. Nice little sky blue. I quite like the design. But I've got a real issue with it. When you've got a light coloured shirt, whose stupid idea was it to put white lettering on it?
Is that your rant over?
Yeah, for now.
You're absolutely right, Craig.
Thanks.
I agree. It could be awkward looking at it, but you've just said there, are they definitely playing in it on a Monday then?
Yes, they are. Yes, they're playing it on Monday. Yeah.
Shame.
Shame. It's
not a shame.
It is.
As a commentator, I get really frustrated when teams come. Worst one is striped shirts that have white lettering. I think Hartlepool's is that.
Yeah.
And when you don't know the club, I mean, you can sit and you can do, all the research that you want. So I'll give you an example of what I do before a game. So I have a pitch marked out. Let me put it on full screen so you can see it. So this is something which I do before every single game. I mark out the team for each side and put out positions of how they may play, like how they played their last game. So that'll give me a bit of an indication of how they play. But when you don't know the squad and when you're sort of judging off other people's reports, it's difficult to know whether that's that's factually accurate or not. So you're looking for numbers, you're looking for little things. And the way the lettering is sometimes and the numbering is on this current Football League graphic design, certain numbers look like certain other numbers. So 1 and 7 looks very similar. So if you've got an 11 and a 17, it can be very, very difficult. And that's how things get pronounced wrong. That's how players get, mispronounced wrong. And it's a long distance sometimes from the pitch. It's all right when it's your own club because you when you're watching them week in, week out, because you know who plays in what position. You know certain things to look out for. You know, for example, to look out for James Purchase headband, or Ollie Hawkins being 90 foot tall, or George Lapsley having a mop top haircut.
Do A's look like eyes? Because obviously we had Lipsley at Hartlepool, didn't we? So.
Exactly, and this is the point. It's difficult for away commentators sometimes to grasp the names and the numbers, especially when you're trying to watch the game in front of you, glance down at your team sheet, find the relevant number, find the relevant name, but still try and process following the game, keep up a pace and think about what you're doing. It's a lot harder than what it looks. And white lettering on light kit does not help. So please, next season, when we wear this on a more regular basis, please change it to darker coloured numbering. I know that nothing can be done for this coming Monday, but please change it for next season. Otherwise, it's going to be very, very frustrating indeed. And, you mentioned something earlier in the private chat, didn't you, Alan, about, it sometimes can be an announcer's worst nightmare as well, because, you only get a split second to see. Similar to what we do, especially in a crowded penalty area. Sometimes it's difficult to know. It's only by virtue of the fact that, you can recognise certain players' traits when it's your own players that you can sort of say who scored the goal or whatever. Sometimes it's difficult.
Yeah, but I would just, it's only my opinion, and I'll probably get shouted down for it, whatever, but Mansfield play in amber and blue. And whenever Mansfield can play in amber and blue, I think they should play in amber and blue. Save the new away kit for next season, because that's what it's for. And they mind messing about with it on Monday. If they can play in yellow and blue, which they should have been able to, because Salford's red and white, aren't they? Is that correct?
Yes.
Red and white, yeah.
Yeah.
They should play. It's just my opinion.
There's genuinely no reason for us to be playing in that away strip on Monday.
No.
This is one of them occasions where all your opinions was wrong. Like you thought earlier.
Yeah.
I always think
got their own opinions, Nathan, and that's just fine. But I prefer amber and blue when we can.
When we can, I agree, but
only ever should be a change of strip when there's a colour clash. No other reason whatsoever.
Correct.
However, I always think when it comes to launching a new kit, I always think it's a great thing from the club's point of view to do it at the end of the season. So last away game, it makes sense to launch the away
totally
kit.
wrong.
It is. No, to launch the away kit. There's a clue in the name.
Sports. They're only doing this because it's on Sky Sports, and then the commentators at least twice in that game will reference that it's new away kit. Totally wrong. And for those that
how is that wrong if it gets more money for the club?
What happens if we then win in this? What happens if we then win in this kit, right? And then we end up playing Salford in the playoffs, and then we end up switching back to amber and blue, and then they say we can't wear this away kit because it's next season's away kit. It's next season's away kit, and we should be playing in the home strip. Totally wrong, Nathan. You're totally wrong.
It's not even about that. It's we're planning to go up in third place, so forget about playoffs. That doesn't matter. Forget about that. It's all about here and now. We've got an opportunity, the last away game, to showcase our new away kit.
Now I'll tell you when it should be used.
Get some sales for summer.
I'll tell you when it should be used and should be shown for the first time pre-season. Next.
No.
I think it's sorry, Nathan. I think it's 3-1 there.
No, because Cam was with me as well. Cam was in the group chat. I'm with him on this.
Well, that's 3-2 then.
Yeah, it's that vote.
And let's get the comments in.
Let's face it. When does Cam's vote ever counted?
Tonight, for the first time ever.
Nathan says, "Well said, lads."
See, look, this Nathan. Look, I'm on side. Wait. Is he on my side or your side?
These shirts are not going to be available till the middle of the summer. So, do you think that them wearing these on Monday night is going to drastically increase the number of sales of that shirt? Well, I think you're wrong.
I'm looking forward to seeing it, and it's going to make me want to buy it.
I'm looking forward to seeing it. Definitely looking forward to seeing it. Not looking forward to seeing the white numbers on the back because that's just idiotic. And if
That only affects like 3 people in the ground, so just get over it.
no, it doesn't. It doesn't.
You're
No,
wrong. You're absolutely wrong.
no. It
I like,
it's-
listen, I
and
like the
the
sky
clue,
blue, I like the sky blue strip. There's no
Yeah.
reason why you can't have dark blue numbers on it.
love the design. It'd be a lot better with dark blue numbers on it, like Clive says. But also, it should be saved for next season because it is the away kit for the
because we're not Man City fans,
2022-23 campaign. And also, it's the wrong shade of blue. But anyway, let's move. It's a nice design, and I'm looking forward to it. And I
It's
will
not
be
the
buying
first
it as
time we've
soon.
had- It's not the first time I've had a sky blue shirt either.
No, I know. We had we've had one plenty of times, and actually one of my favourite away kits is
Was
the
the last time
light
in
blue one.
League One, hopefully?
It would have been actually. It might have been.
That'd be nice.
It was what because
Maybe it's a sign.
because we had white in the conference, didn't we? Which I still want to get, which is very similar to our third shirt now. Yeah, it might have been 20 years ago when we went up, but it was this shade of light blue is a lot lighter than that shirt. Anyway, doesn't matter. It should be saved until next season. It should have dark blue numbering, and I'm looking forward to buying it from the club shop. Kieran in the comments says, again, hi from Brighton. Great listen. Great listen. We are entering squeaky bum time now. Come on, Mansfield. And that away kit was designed for League One. Well, let's wait until we bloody get there until we wear it.
For God's sake.
True facts in it. I was going to make an analogy, but I'm not going to do because it's a little bit risque. And
Yeah, don't go
yeah,
there.
I'm not going to go there.
Let's
I'm
not.
not.
Don't
I'm
go
not,
there.
not
Just
going to
accept
go
you're
there.
wrong and move on. On to the next thing.
Who's wrong?
You.
Who?
You all of
Bye.
you.
See you later, Nathan. That's how we do. That's how we deal with people who don't agree with our opinions on this show. We press the exit button, and I've realised I've got to let it back in for podcast predictions.
Yeah, who's top at
Behave
league?
now, please, Nathan. Behave.
All
Yeah.
right. Who's
Yeah.
top at league of podcast predictions, by the way?
I mean, if you say
That,
one,
that
if
just
you,
proves I'm right.
I
Carry
mean-
on.
I
You're
mean-
the yellow card, Nathan.
I mean, you are, and if you back this kit again this season, I am going to deduct at least 6 points from you.
I'll probably still be top, won't I?
No, 6 points would be enough for me to go above you. So there you go. Nathan says, did none of you pick up on Nathan seeing that kit, lads?
You
Bring him
did.
in.
I
We've
know, I was
rumbled
like,
him.
come on.
We've rumbled him. We've got him. Take back his houses. We've
I
got
think
him.
it's more the you know the I made that joke and not one of you actually reacted to it. But
We were
Too
too
sensitive.
Clive,
We were too-
Craig did.
We were.
he
we were
didn't.
too-
He said he was looking forward to seeing it, but he actually didn't realize. Never mind. Just it's a good kit. Let's move on.
It is a good
Too
kit.
bad.
Bad joke.
I can't even see this bloody kit, and I'm arguing its corner like it's a joke.
It's a nice kit, Nathan.
Yeah,
Next
I can't wait
season.
to buy it, and Emma says it's not.
It'll look
nice. She says it
beautiful
about them
next
all.
season.
It will look beautiful
Can we
next
move-
season,
can we
which
move
is
on?
right for home next season.
Yeah.
Yes, we can. Let's move to tomorrow afternoon. Fixtures tomorrow afternoon. Big afternoon. Alan Wilson, will you be glued to some form of media outlet to keep an eye on said fixtures, or are you going to ignore the fixtures and what will be will be?
What will be. But I always look at the Gillette Soccer Saturday. You know, if I'm in the house, but I might be cutting the lawns or whatever. But I will be seeing it somewhere along the line because it won't bother me one way or another. Mansfield's got to win both games basically to have a chance of automatic promotion. And what will be, Craig. It doesn't matter one iota to me, but I believe in the Stags.
Clive, what about you? Everybody's focusing on that Northampton against Exeter game, which obviously is the game which will affect us the most. But like I said in the intro of the show, we can't be arrogant enough to discount those teams that are nipping at our toes. Rochdale against Bristol Rovers, a big game for us tomorrow afternoon. Sutton at home to Bradford as well. We also need to sort of keep an eye on it outside the playoffs with Swindon against Barrow. It's a big afternoon of fixtures, and it's not just one game which will make the difference. If all of those teams get positive results, it will be a very, very different landscape indeed on Monday.
I've absolutely no intention of tormenting myself all Saturday afternoon watching results that can have no bearing on what I do. I can't influence them at all. Therefore, I have downloaded the latest series of Ozark on Netflix. I should be binge watching Ozark until 5 o'clock when I'll put the results on.
Do you download things on Netflix? You just not
Well, you know
stream
what I
them?
mean. Stream it on
Modern
video
technology.
in.
Modern
Wind
technology.
the tape forward, all the usual stuff.
Make sure you change it at the end.
Yeah, rewind it back.
And don't record over it. Nathan, what about you? Are you going to be score addicted, or are you going to be another of we are where we are, what happens, happens, see you on Monday?
I'm definitely we are where I'm with Alan. We just need to win our 2 games anyway. But for me, most importantly, win against Salford, because obviously they can catch us. So that for me is the biggest one that I want to win. But I'll be watching the scores anyway, because I'm obviously a Stags fan, but I'm a fan of League Two and the lower league. So it's just that time of season where it's I enjoy what's happening for everyone. Like, enjoy the twists and turns of every league. So I'll be watching, but with one eye on our one that do affect us. But I'm not going to be too fussed. For me, we go to Monday regardless of what happens on tomorrow, and we need to go for a win.
Yeah, we certainly do. It's all about Monday for us then, Alan, isn't it? Salford away, and regardless of any thoughts of automatic promotion and going up in third or anything like that, it's just being involved in that hunt. We win both games and we give ourselves a really, really good chance. But I think Nathan made a good point there, and I feel sick saying that it's the important thing is beating Salford and putting them out of the race. Tranmere can also be out of the race with a bad result as well. So it's just about eliminating as much competition as we physically can.
That's it. It's just taking, like we said before, taking one game at a time. Make sure we can do the Salford, bit first, and then take it as it comes, for the last game of the season. But yeah, I agree. We've obviously got to beat Salford, because that will determine exactly what happens for the rest of the stuff.
There's just the risk if we don't beat Salford. Or say we lose to Salford, you then go into that last game where you actually need to get something to even get the play, to possibly even get the playoffs. So for me, I'm not even looking at Forest Green yet, because I think it's the most important game is the next one for us.
Yeah.
Forest Green will be a matter of whether we can get automatics or where we'll finish in the playoffs. But all we need is is it a point now to guarantee playoffs, or obviously the 3 would do it anyway. So for me,
depend on other results.
Of course, yeah.
On
but
Saturday,
for me,
wouldn't
Salford's the most important, just for different reasons.
So if we win, I think we're assured of the playoffs at least, aren't we?
Yeah, just looking at
important. Forest Green's an opportunity. That's the way I'll look at it.
That's a very good way of putting it, actually. I mean, we're on 75 points. Swindon outside the playoffs in 8th are on 71. So a 4-point gap there. So if they were to win on Saturday, of course, and we beat Salford on Monday, the 4-point gap would still remain, which means they wouldn't be able to catch us. So for me, we just win on Monday and guarantee ourselves a playoff spot, and then anything after that is a bonus.
Yeah.
If we don't do enough to get the automatic slot, then so be it. But what we do need then is to either finish 4th or 5th, so we get the away fixture second, the away semi-final match second.
You want the away? You want the away game second?
No,
sorry,
sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
I'd want the home advantage.
If we finish 4th or 5th, we get the home tie second, don't we?
Yeah.
And we have no control over who comes in. We have preferences, of course we do. But if we can win, we can beat anybody. It doesn't matter, does it? Obviously, I don't want playoffs. The last thing I want is playoffs. I'm ready for switching my football head off for a while. But if it's going to be, let's try and enjoy it. Let's make sure we do everything we can to get something out of it.
You do know we do this podcast throughout the summer, right? Even when there's not football. Anyone told him that?
I can cope with that.
I was only joking, by the way. We'll record a batch load at the end of the season, and then we'll take 6 weeks off. Anyway, and we've got our Stag Story series coming up. More on that in 2 minutes' time. First, whilst we're on the subject of Salford, it's time for podcast predictions. Nathan is still top of the table on 58 points. Clive in second on 53.5. I'm in third. Steve in fourth, Nick in fifth, Steve Naden in sixth, Cam's in seventh. He's overtaken you this weekend. Alan, you're in eighth, Roger in ninth, and Ricky in 10th. Nathan, let's start with you. Your predictions, please, for Monday's game at Salford City, or as we call it here on the Mansfield Matters podcast, the Camfelton Derby.
Oh, the good old Camfelton Derby. I've got to back us. I'm going to go. It's going to be a tight game, I think. Both teams are going to be nervy. I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory. and I'm going to back Lapsley and Oates to get the goals.
Clive, you're up next.
3-0, Stags. Oates, Lapsley, Hewitt.
Ooh, Elliot Hewitt. I was risking it for a Chewitt. Alan Wilson.
Salford 1, Mansfield Town 2, Oates and Longstaff.
Oh, Cam, I can tell you, has gone for a Mansfield win, a 2-0 win of Oates and Hawkins. I don't think we're going to get another 2-0 on the spin. Away from home, I think we're going to concede. I think it's going to be a tight game, like Nathan said, and I think we're going to edge it 3-2. And I think we're going to get goals from Reece Oates. I think we're going to get another one from a set piece, and I think it will fall for George Maris. And I think we'll get
dropped.
Yeah, and I think we'll get it because he's not going to get dropped, is he? Let's be honest. And just thought about a nibble. And I think the other goal is going to come from Jamie Murphy. So I'm going to go 3-2. If you want to play along, the link that you need is in the description. You have to submit your predictions 1 hour and 1 minute before kickoff. Also, if you want to get yourself to Salford on Monday, there are still some limited seats available on the SSA coach. For prices and information, all you need to do is call this number.
07967 689 597.
And that number again is Clive Park.
What he said.
Yes.
07967 689 597.
And you can also ask him for information on your player of the season vote as well. I think you need your name and your membership number as well, so you can text that in and all that stuff as well. And talking of end of season awards, Nathan, it's almost that time of this season again where we do the Mansfield Matters awards. There's a link in the description now to do what we're doing as a long list this time around. We're going to keep that open until next Friday, and then we'll do it as a short list for the final week of the season. And then we'll do a special end of season award show to reveal all the winners. The winners don't get a trophy or anything. They just get a nice little tweet, probably from Nathan, because I can't be asked to do them. And it's just all about us having content to fill. So it's as simple as that. Usual categories: player of the season, loanee of the season, signing of the season, goal of the season, moment of the season, and our favourite podcaster of the season. So, Alan, looks like you're going to get an award, my friend.
Yeah, right.
Popular man. Probably you're the only one on this group that's got your own Facebook group.
Has he?
Do you not know about this, Nate?
No, what's this Facebook group?
There is genuinely, isn't there, Clive, an Alan Wilson Appreciation Society on Facebook.
What, the
I
biscuit
feel
man?
bad that I'm not in it.
No. There genuinely is. I'm going to see if I can find it. What's it called?
You have to send me an invite. I'm not even in it. Alan,
Is
did you
it
make
Alan
this yourself?
Wilson, the broken biscuit?
No. I'm sure it's like Alan Wilson Appreciation Society or something, isn't it?
That's it. So down to Tony Cowp, who's the steward in the Quarry Lane, Ed Steward.
It's the Alan Wilson, the Voice of the Stags Appreciation Group, and I'm going to send Nathan an invite. Send Nathan an invite now. Cam's not even a member. I'll invite Cam.
It's come through once. Decline.
Yeah, it has actually just gone through to you, Nathan, as well. So
Yeah,
you might have
decline.
Yeah, you might have two more members
You
before
invite me,
later on.
come I'm ready to issue some abuse.
I mean, oh yeah, I definitely am if he carries on picking Maris. But anyway, moving on. So there you go. Yeah, make sure you get yourself booked on the SSA coach. Make sure you get involved in our end of season awards as well. One final thing to tell you about tonight before we end by recapping Tuesday night's victory, and that is all about this. Stags Stories, the glory of the Amber generation. The episode with Andy White, the first episode of the series, is out now. But in order to get access to it, you have to go and become a Mansfield Matters VIP on our Patreon page. The link that you need is in the description. It's just £3 a month until cancelled, and there'll be new episodes going on there every single week, and you will get access to these episodes before anyone else. These episodes will be released later on at the end of the season via all normal channels, but if you want to get exclusive access to these earlier than anyone else, go on our Patreon page. The link is in the description. It's just £3 a month until cancelled, and there'll be some extra bonus content on there for you as well. And for those that are asking, Stag Stories Live with Stuart Watkins, Neil Richardson and Andy White, that video will be out at the end of the season for you as well. That's almost all we've got time for tonight. Finally, 2 games to go. In your heart of hearts, what's your message to the players ahead of the final 2 games of the season? I'll start with the only man who's got an Appreciation Society on Facebook, and that is Clyde. No, it's Alan Wilson.
Keep confident, keep the faith.
The man who I'm sure will become the newest member of said Appreciation Society after the show, Clive Parkin.
Win both games, you can do no more.
And the man who couldn't care less either way, Nathan Edge.
I think all they've got to do is go out there and give it 100%, and I think the majority of supporters will appreciate that.
We've had the easy way, we've had the hard way, we've had the Mansfield Town way. For once, can we do it the easy way? We'll see you again later in the week. Strap yourselves in, kids. First, let's recap how we got into this excellent position of being just 1 point behind Northampton in third. Footballing gods, please.
It's one small step in terms of Mansfield Town's fixture list, but a big result here could mean a giant leap towards that promotion ambition. Mansfield Town's game in hand over a number of sides in and around them. A win would take them to just 1 point behind third place Northampton. The teams come out to the One Call Stadium here, led by Mansfield's captain James Perch, and Nigel Clough makes one change to the side which beat Crawley Town by 2-0 here at One Call Stadium on Saturday afternoon. Stephen Quinn goes out, he's injured. Coming in is George Lapsley. Christy Pym taking his time over the resulting goal kick, delivers it forward up towards the substitute Daly, trying to get his first touch. Mansfield head it away only as far as Akins. Lovely little ball roll to Longstaff, and now Murphy's on his way down the left hand side. Oates coming square in the centre. Here's Murphy low balling towards the middle, and Stevenage turn it away. Has it gone out for a corner? Yes it has. That's an excellent bit of countering football from Mansfield, and Mansfield want to take the corner quickly. It is taken quickly. Here's Murphy, looks to roll it in towards the middle, dicked it towards the far post looking for O'Toole. It might fall for Lapsley. George Lapsley opens the scoring on 50 minutes. A quick corner routine, dicked in by Jamie Murphy, nodded down, and George Lapsley on his left foot, back in the side, back in the goals, and gets Mansfield Town's fans back on their feet. 1-0 Stag.
Murphy's been terrific in the second half, getting behind. Murphy again finding the space, quick 3 kick, put a lovely ball in, and a terrific finish by Lapsley. And this is just what he's told him at half time. Quicken it up, quicken it up, quicken it up. And you'll open these up and it's a fantastic goal.
George Lapsley will take the throw for Mansfield, gets it to the feet of Longstaff, back for Lapsley, looking to find some space, gives it to Akins, who holds it up on the right hand side. Lapsley for Longstaff, back for Lapsley again, now Akins. Lapsley once more needs to find a pass into the feet of Hawkins. It goes wide for Akins, squares it well to Wallace, 40 from goal. Wallace bang central, looking maybe to try and find a pass. Here's McLaughlin on the edge of the box, lining up a shot, maybe goes wide for Bowery. Bowery now takes it down, can he get it onto his right foot? Inside it goes for Longstaff. Longstaff will shoot. Longstaff, it's 2. Good night Stevenage. Hello pressure. Matty Longstaff with the finish right at the death for Mansfield Town. Lifts the roof off the One Call Stadium. Mansfield Town 2, Stevenage 0.
Absolutely fantastic, really good professional goal from Mansfield there, and Wallace was absolutely pivotal in that. He could have easily took his shot, but he's kept it, moved it wide, and it's a lovely finish. He's absolutely must have given him the eyes. And game, set to match.
There's the full-time whistle, and that is a big win for Mansfield Town, who take a giant leap to within 1 point of the automatic promotion places with 2 games to go. Full-time, Stags 2, Stevenage 0. 1 giant leap towards achieving a dream.
So there you are, goals for George Lapsley and Matty Longstaff fire the Stags within a point of the automatic promotion places, but it all rests on the shoulders of the other teams, mainly Exeter City. Can they get a victory over Northampton Town in third to keep the Stags within a points reach ahead of Monday's trip to fellow playoff chasers Salford City. No matter which way the results swing, keep believing, keep the faith and trust in the process, because the Stags really aren't out of the race. Anything can happen over the next 2 games of football. It's going to be a huge week in Mansfield Town's history, that is for sure. We'll be back in the middle of next week to look ahead to the final day of the campaign as we welcome Forest Green Rovers to what will be a sold-out one-call stadium for sure on Saturday afternoon. We'll look at where the Stags are in the table, what the results from Saturday afternoon mean, and of course reflect on Monday's game at Salford. And if you can't go to that all-ticket affair, make sure you tune in to Mansfield 103.2. Full match commentary again on the way for you. Yes, I know it's on Sky Sports, but do you want to listen to Sky Sports commentators that will probably, let's face it, be on the side of Salford and giving a little bit of praise to Gary Neville and co? Or do you want to listen to 2 Stags mad idiots, full of passion, full of desire and full of excitement for what is to come for the final 2 games of the season? Mansfield 103.2, the place to be. Lee Wilson alongside me for full match commentary as always. You could even combine the 2. A beautiful button on remote controls on TVs. 4 letters, mute. TV on, volume muted, radio up loud. Combine the 2, everyone's a winner, as Del Boy used to say. Strap yourselves in, because tomorrow afternoon I'm sure will be a nervy one, looking through your fingers at all the results coming in. And of course, strap yourselves in even tighter for Monday's trip to Salford. 2 more games to go. The roller coaster ride keeps on throwing in these twists and turns, and we're loving every second. We'll see you again next week on the show for the fans, by the fans. This is the Mansfield Matters podcast. Good night.
Flogstaff will shoot! It's Flogstaff! It's 2! Good night, Stevenage! Hello, pressure!